In the name of Allah, the most merciful. Today's lecture in the true scientific manifestation of Surah Al-Falaq in the Holy Quran. The first verse in Surah Al-Falaq, Allah Almighty says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, means, say, I seek refuge in Allah, the Lord of all creatures that Allah created by many ways. The meaning of the word say, it's an order from Allah Almighty that we read words after the word say. أعوذ برب الفلق means, I seek refuge in Allah, the Lord of all creatures that Allah created by many ways, to take shelter in Allah Almighty, the Lord of the creatures He created in several ways, such as sexual reproduction, like humans and most animals, fission like cell divisions to more than one cell, such as bacteria, and the rotation of an element around an element to create a new element, such as the rotation of the earth and the moon around the sun, to create the day and night with the command of Allah Almighty, and the rotation of negative electrons about the positive protons and neutrons of equal charge, so that life continues inside the nucleus, or union like the union of two hydrogen atoms with an oxygen atom to create water with the command of Allah Almighty, as well as the creation of the jinn, demons, space creatures, and angels, all of the list for the creatures that Allah created in several different ways. The second verse in Surah Al-Falaq, Allah Almighty says, من شر ما خلق, means, we seek refuge in Allah Almighty from the evil that results and comes from all creatures. The third verse in Surah Al-Falaq, Allah Almighty says, وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ, means, and from the mischief of dusk as it overspreads. The meaning, dusk is an effective name from dusk, according to the statement of Allah Almighty in the Holy Quran, to the dusk of the night. And is the hidden thing is very hidden, and obscures the vision, but it's scientifically present. And therefore, what is the means in the words of God Almighty from the mischief task as it overspreads? It means we ask protection from Allah Almighty from the discussed evil that does not appear to us, but it exists scientifically, such as the behaviors of people or the activity of malignant diseases or radiations and environmental and food contamination and accidents, and every evil is hidden, and we do not have the ability to deal with it, but its occurrence is practically or scientifically possible. The fourth verse in Surah Al-Falaq, Allah Almighty says, وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ, it means, and we take refuge in Allah Almighty from the evil of negative external influences in the knots. Negative external influences are defined in this verse because the knot is defined in the Great Quran in two cases. Case number one, as the knot may be disease, then the negative external influences exacerbation of this disease. By analogy with the words of Allah Almighty in the Great Quran, and analyze the knot from my tongue. An example of this, a patient with blood pressure, the negative external influences such as a neurological trauma may further aggravate the disease into a stroke. Allah forbid. Case number 2, when the knot is the social connection, the negative external influences that seek to tear up and dismantle the social relations between the spouses, friends, family, and society. By analogy with the words of Allah Almighty in the Great Quran, marriage knot. The 5th verse in Surah Al-Falaq, Allah Almighty says, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ, means we seek refuge in Allah Almighty from the envious evil when he envies, seeking protection from Allah Almighty from the evil that comes from the envy, when he begins to carry out his attack us as a result of this envy. It should be noted that Surah Al-Falaq has no relation to magic, because magic is 2 types in the Great Quran. One, Allah Almighty says in the Holy Quran, so when they threw, they bewitched the eyes of the people. 2, Allah Almighty says in the Holy Quran, trying to dismantle and tear social ties and relationships between people with lies, hypocrisy, gossip, etc. from tangible slanders. Allah Almighty says in the Holy Quran, the magic cat was weak. I ask Allah Almighty that you will be benefit from this lecture. Thank you.